Are you guys caught up with Stranger Things? Because I'm going to be reviewing season 3, so don't get off that toilet just yet. Hello everyone and welcome to Movie Melee. I am your incredible host, Detective Artimus, and before we go on, hit that thumbs up button because I know it, you know it, Mike's mom knows it. You really want to like this, please? In this video, I will be talking about spoilers, so if you have not seen Stranger Things Season 3, make sure you hit that watch there button on this video, go and watch the goddamn season, and then come back in and join in the discussion. Go! Or if you don't care about spoilers, sit back and let's talk. Taking place just 1 year after Season 2 in 1985, the Starcourt Mall is built, and it's driving all these small mom and pop businesses out of town. This is also the focal point for the season because a ton of shit happens here. After some electromagnetic power fluctuations occur, making all the magnets fall and stuff, Joyce believes something strange is going on. As always, pun intended, we eventually find out that the Russians, yes, the Russians, but then known as the USSR, no, Zangief is not in the season. We find out that they're trying to reopen the seal to the Upside Down, but in their own part of the world. But they can't open that one yet because it's still pretty sealed up. So they make their way to Hawkins because this seal, that one we saw in Season 2 and Season 1, it's still healing from when 11 closed it in last season. So it's gonna make it more easy for them to open up this time. That's why they're there. So basically the Starcourt Mall is just a misdirection for them to do their experiments and shipments without anyone batting an eye. It's all a goddamn lie. Who would have thought? Those goddamn Russians. We also learned that the piece of the Mind Flayer that left Will from last season now attaches itself to Billy, making him the new puppet. Therefore the Mind Flayer is the master of puppets. And as you can imagine, I love this because this is exactly what I wanted when I saw Season 2. I knew they weren't done with Billy, and goddammit, they made him pretty crazy in this one. I loved it. So it is up to our heroes to stop the Russians and the Mind Flayer. So right off the bat, I love the mystery field this season had. It had a great build, and after every episode, it left me wanting more, and that's the good thing. Again, I was like a crackhead. Thankfully there was only 8 episodes, but then it sucks because there were only 8 episodes. But sometimes you don't want to overstay your welcome. I also love how the group kind of split up doing their own thing, doing their own little mini investigations that ultimately led to the same stuff. It was a nice way to flesh out the characters in ways we haven't seen them do before, instead of just bunching them up all together without giving them any room to develop. Everyone here was a star, mostly. And speaking of the characters, love is in the air because now the kids are now couples. We got Mike and 11, Max and Lucas, hell, even Dustin has a girlfriend, which in this is the sort of the 80s equivalent of an online girlfriend. Does she exist? Yeah, she does. You find out. That just leaves poor old Will being the 5th wheel. I mean, all he wanted to do was play some D&D, but no, his friends just wanted to swap spit and do all that gross, yucky stuff. No thanks. I want to be a goddamn wizard. I actually liked Will's character development here because he actually had a chance to develop. For once, he was not lost or catatonic for the whole season. I actually sympathized with him seeing his struggle and noticing all his friends are growing up and not wanting to do that little kid shit anymore. And he's trying to adjust to the change. It was a pretty powerful scene, I think, so good job, Will. I now care about you. It took 3 seasons, but we're there. I love Steve and seeing his rise and fall off the cool kids hierarchy. He is now officially a loser, working a crappy job, dealing with crappy customers, just like the rest of us. Man, I feel you on that one. I also hate people. I also love his chemistry with the newly introduced character, Robin. You actually end up wanting them to be together, but they ultimately don't because you find out Robin is a lesbian. And she tells him right when Steve is kind of spewing out his feelings for her. When they're having like a little heart-to-heart thing in the bathroom stalls, I was like, oh man, he's gonna get her. And then she's like, no, I wanted the girl who was looking at you. And you're like, oh shit. Now that part was hilarious, but it was also cool because it adds a new dynamic to their relationship. And not everyone has to end up together. Look at Casablanca. Spoilers, but it's been like 70 years. Come on. Chemistry between characters is important, and here, everyone had it with each other, especially when they're doing their separate missions. Hell, even Lucas' sister Erica had it when she joined Dustin, Steve, and Robin. Can I get some more free samples, bitch? I didn't really like Mike so much in this season because I feel like he didn't really do much, and he was kind of a douche at times. He is so lucky Billy did not fuck the shit out of his mom and be his new stepdad. I also didn't like Jonathan that much either because he also didn't do anything except not believe Nancy whenever she had a new lead to her investigation. Men, am I right? So, Robin cracked the Russian code, Joyce solved the electromagnetic problem, Nancy uncovered that the Mind Flayer was possessing people, and 11 saved everyone multiple times. Girl power, am I right? Sarah Connor and Ripley would be proud. Now the best character award for this season goes to Billy, because he had the best arc. He started off as this massive dick, and then we find out more about his tragic and abusive childhood, his dad kicking the crap out of him, his mom leaving him, and just all this anger. And then he sacrificed himself to save 11, thus redeeming himself. Now that is how you make a sympathetic villain, and I loved it. Billy, you will be missed. Now who's gonna be my man crush? Now Hopper seemingly died as well when he sort of sacrificed himself to let Joyce close the CO for the machine thingy, and it blew up. But the classic story rule, we gotta see a body to confirm the death. And I didn't see a goddamn body. Did you? I saw nobody. More on that later. But aside from that, he was his usual awesome self with the best mustache on Netflix. Also seeing him get mad at Mike for hanging out with 11 too much, being that classic dad with the daughter, it was great. I could see myself being that way. Minus the mustache. The mini Mind Flayer looked pretty awesome and posed a huge threat. He was turning like half the town into zombies, kind of turning into goo and seeping through doors and shit, taking no fall damage. Though he died when the seal closed up and no longer being connected to the main brain in the Upside Down. I also thought it was cool when he made a physical body for himself by making all those rats explode and fuse together. Exploding Rats. That's a pretty cool metal band name. Dibs. We also learned the Mind Flayer's true plan. He wants to kill 11. Because she's probably the only real threat to him, and he is tired of her shit. I know I am. It almost worked though when it bit her and took away her powers, which means she couldn't save the day again, and I love that. A new adversity for the characters. You can't just rely on 11 all the time. Now, was I the only one who liked the Russianator? He was a clear homage to Arnold in his iconic role. He was so cold and ruthless that he could have very well been a cyborg too. We don't know. Them Russians are always up to something, and they're always in a hurry. Because they're Russian. He kicked the shit out of Hopper in that first round, but in that second round, Hopper threw him into that door closing upside down seal machine thing for a very satisfying villain death. So that was cool, and I was all like, da 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 da, da 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 da. So the season ends with Billy's death and Hopper's death, solidifying our theme, which is sacrifice. And our heroes end up separated. Will, Jonathan, Joyce, and their newly adopted 11 leave Hawkins to start over, leaving us with a bittersweet ending. Aw, but Mike just confessed his love to her. They'll be fine. Now, even though the good guys kind of won, they still took a massive loss. So it kind of felt like an Empire Strikes Back type of ending. And that's cool. It's okay to end on a down sometimes. But you know damn well there's going to be a season 4 because there's a lot of loose ends. It's also going to be awesome too to see how they deal with the new threat with a powerless 11. I mean, I'm sure she'll get her powers at the very end, but for a while, she's going to have those powers, so what are they going to do? They all just can't. So I think that's cool, and it adds more danger to the characters. You got to stack the odds against them. That's how you make the good heroes. The end credit scene shows the same Russian place that we saw at the beginning of the season. We see guards walking down some jail cells and they're about to open a door, but then one's like, no, not the American. And he's like, oh shit, I'm sorry. And they go into the next door. Now, we don't see who it is, but when they say no, not the American, it's pretty obvious Hopper survived that goddamn explosion. There's just no other explanation. He survived. Unless, did Bob survive? No, I mean, I love Bob, but he was demo dog chow. We also see the prisoner that they chose end up being food for their new Demogorgon. That's right, the Russians have opened that seal. And how will this come into play? Will Hopper survive? Was it really Hopper? How are they going to stop the Russians this time? We'll just have to wait for season 4, which will probably happen in about 5 years. So overall, I thought this was an excellent season. It had a great build, further developed our characters while introducing new ones, and the real hero of the season was the never-ending story. I thought this was way better than season 2 because at no point at all did I feel like this was dragging on or I was bored. So I am stoked for season 4, and can I get a fight between 8 and 11 please? That's all I'm asking for this time. Just one fight. It can be really cool. So what do you guys think of this season, and what do you think will happen in next season? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this amazing channel. I am Detective Artimus, and turn around, look at what you see in her face, the mirror of your dreams.
get me killed.
Out of here.
Oh, Billy. Ah!